For 22 years, Daniel Foster left his home in Columbus, Ohio, every Monday morning and didn't return until Friday evening. His wife, Karen, believed he was working as a traveling sales representative for a medical equipment company, a job that required him to cover 4 states. There was no such job. There was no such company. For 22 years, Daniel Foster had a second wife, a second house, and 2 more children, 600 miles away in Richmond, Virginia. 2 complete families, 2 complete lives, and neither one knew the other existed. For 22 years, Daniel Foster left his home in Columbus, Ohio, every Monday morning and didn't return until Friday evening. His wife, Karen, believed he was working as a traveling sales representative for a medical equipment company, a job that required him to cover 4 states. There was no such job. There was no such company. For 22 years, Daniel Foster had a second wife, a second house, and 2 more children, 600 miles away in Richmond, Virginia. 2 complete families, 2 complete lives, and neither one knew the other existed. This is the story of how a man built an entire second existence, and the single mistake that finally brought both lives crashing together. Daniel Foster married Karen Mitchell in 1998. They built what appeared to be an ordinary, comfortable life in Columbus. 2 children, a modest home, regular church attendance. Daniel told Karen he had taken a regional sales position requiring extensive travel, leaving every Monday and returning every Friday without exception. What Karen didn't know was that every Monday, Daniel drove not to sales meetings, but to Richmond, Virginia, where a woman named Patricia Lane believed she was his only wife. Daniel had married Patricia in 2003 under a slightly altered version of his legal name, using his middle name, Robert, as his first name, with a forged set of identification documents. In Richmond, Daniel was known as Robert Foster. He worked a real job at a logistics company, attended his children's school events, and by every appearance was simply a devoted husband who happened to travel for work as well. Though in Robert's version of events, his travel took him to Columbus. 2 women, 2 sets of children, 2 complete domestic lives, running in perfect parallel for over 2 decades, connected only by Daniel's careful scheduling and an extraordinary level of compartmentalization that even forensic psychologists, later studying the case, described as exceptionally rare. Daniel's deception relied on meticulous, almost obsessive organization. He maintained 2 separate phones, 2 separate wallets, and 2 separate sets of identification, switching between them during the 6-hour drive between Columbus and Richmond, always at the same gas station, roughly halfway between both cities. He used separate bank accounts for each household, funded by his actual salary from the logistics company, which he split between both families without either knowing the income wasn't coming from 2 separate jobs. Birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays were tracked in a small notebook he kept locked in his car, ensuring he never confused dates between families. Investigators who later reviewed this notebook described it as resembling a project management document more than anything personal. Both Karen and Patricia later told investigators they had occasionally noticed small inconsistencies over the years: a receipt from an unfamiliar restaurant, an unexplained scar, a brief slip where he used an unfamiliar nickname. But each time, Daniel offered calm, plausible explanations that prevented either woman from suspecting the full truth. The arrangement held for 22 years. It began to collapse in the spring of 2021, when Daniel was hospitalized after a car accident on the highway connecting both cities, and emergency responders found 2 different driver's licenses in his wallet, each with a different name, and each listing a different home address as his primary residence. Hospital staff, confused by the conflicting identification, contacted both addresses listed on the licenses. Karen Mitchell and Patricia Lane arrived at the same hospital within 40 minutes of each other, both believing they were rushing to see their husband. Neither woman knew the other existed until they were sitting in the same waiting room. Patricia later described the moment in an interview, saying, "She said her husband's name was Daniel. I said my husband's name was Robert. We both pulled out our phones to show a picture, and it was the same man." The discovery led to a criminal investigation, as Daniel's use of forged identification documents under the name Robert Foster constituted bigamy and identity fraud under Virginia and Ohio law. Both marriages were legally dissolved, with Karen's marriage being recognized as the legitimate one due to its earlier registration date. Daniel pled guilty to bigamy and fraud charges in 2022 and was sentenced to 4 years in prison, along with significant financial restitution owed to both families for the deception. During sentencing, the judge noted that this was among the most extensively documented cases of long-term bigamy the court had encountered, specifically citing the 22-year duration and the existence of 4 children across both households who would now have to process the truth about their family. Karen and Patricia, despite the extraordinary circumstances that connected them, have both spoken publicly about supporting each other and their children through the aftermath. In one widely discussed interview, Karen stated, "We're not enemies. We were both victims of the same lie. That connects us in a strange way neither of us expected." Daniel's 4 children, 2 from each household, have since connected with each other, navigating the unusual reality of discovering siblings they never knew existed. Daniel Foster is currently serving his sentence. He has reportedly declined most interview requests, offering only one statement through his attorney, that he never intended to hurt anyone and had simply never found the right moment to stop. 22 years is a long time to wait for the right moment. This has been the Dark Truth Files. If this case shocked you as much as it shocked us, share it. Sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the true ones. Stay aware, trust your instincts, and always pay attention to the small inconsistencies.